Hey everyone, this is Mars. I want to wish everyone a happy Merry Christmas, a happy Hanukkah. I'm back. I spent a few days in hospital, had a little medical episode. But I'm back. I tried to shoot a video a couple days ago, and my iPad, somehow I keep hitting slow motion on it. So I shoot it, and then I go back to replay it, and it's like 30 minutes long. I don't know what happened. So hopefully this will go through okay. I wanted just to show off my eBay hauls the last couple weeks. You guys know I'm big into the horror magazines and trying to get all the magazines I wanted in the 70s. So here's the Nightmare number 8. That was one I needed. I picked this up. It's a little rough, but it's complete. And I'm really starting to like the Skywalds more and more. My initial take on those it's kind of harsh on them because sometimes the art kind of looks kind of unfinished, especially compared to the best stuff coming from Warren at the same time. But I'm really starting to appreciate the writing. They always have the horror mood titles, which started, I don't know, issue 2 or 3 or whatever Al Hewitson, the writer-editor, took over. They've got crazy titles, and they're pretty adventurous. They don't always make sense. Some of them are kind of silly, but they are a lot of fun to read. And my estimation of these books has just gotten higher as I'm recollecting these books and reading through them. So there's Nightmare number 8. I still need about 8 or 9 issues of Nightmare. Like I said, Skywalds, I said before, are very tough to find, especially in grade. This is a one-shot that Warren had put out at the time of the Frank Langella Dracula movie in 1979. The play had just come off a successful run on Broadway, and made a movie of it with Langella and Laurence Olivier as Dr. Van Helsing. I've never picked this up before, but I'm putting together binds of these magazines, and I thought this would be a good little addition to my Tomb of Dracula bind of the Marvel magazines, the same era, 78, 79. So I'm going to throw that one in, and this is Dracula Classic. This came out in 77, 76 or 77? Looks like 76 it says. It's from Eerie Publications, which collectors know they're pretty bottom of the barrel type stuff. I flipped through it. There's a lot of pictures. There's even an article on the Manson family, with Charlie Manson and a couple of his girls, who helped murder Sharon Tate. So Eerie, as always, doesn't mind skirting the line of bad taste. Or Warren, at least in Eerie and Creepy, in Vampirella, very rarely crossed it. They get close to the edge and not cross it. In 1984, they actually crossed it. But Eerie went, just full tasteless. That was the only thing they had. They didn't have talent, but they had tasteless. So that's going to go in that Tomb of Dracula bind. This is Scream number 11. It's also the 1975 Scream Winter Special. This is the final issue of Scream. Said the Christmas time of 75. This one was hard to get. There was a couple of copies on eBay. There's always a copy or two to be had in the $50, $60 range, which is more I wanted to pay for it. But I found a low-grade book that popped on, and I got it for like $6. So that's a little more like it. So I've read it. Again, they had Scream had continuing series, this Nosferatu series, and the Saga of the Victims, which were a couple of buxomy girls who were just thrown into horrible situation after horrible situation, never knowing who was behind it or what the story was. They just knew that they get thrown in a boat underwater, and there'd be a squid after them, and then they'd be on an island with cannibals, and just every chapter had something like that. Now, it says the next issue which would be issue 12, was going to wrap up the saga of the victims, and we were actually going to find out what happened, what was going on to the victims in the big plan. There was no issue 12, so we don't know. If anybody knows, I believe there's another chapter out there that's been published somewhere. If anybody knows and wants to put in the comments what the story was, I'd appreciate it. I'd like to know what was going on. It was just a crazy story. But if there's something rhyme or reason to it, I'd like to know what it was. Okay, Famous Monsters 1972 Fear Book. This is the tough one to get. Again, there's a couple copies on eBay. They've been there for a while, up in the $80 to $100 range. One of them's slab. I don't want any slab books because I like to read them. So this one popped up, and I was fortunate nobody else paid any attention to it or cared to have it because it was too low grade, I guess, for them. So I picked this up for less than 10 bucks. So it was 72, and I went ahead and purchased another 1970 yearbook, and that'll complete all 10 of the yearbooks that I want. They produce yearbooks from, what, 63 to 72. So it's 10 years where you had a fear book every year. And so once the 1970 arrives, I'll have all 10 of those, and those will probably be bound. These are essentially annuals, you know, that's all reprint material. But if you're a, you know, a collector, gotta have everything, well, you gotta have everything. So that issue that I posted a video about that 1970 fear book that I purchased 2 or 3 weeks ago, and how it was just torn all to hell, you know, just ripped in half and just terrible. So I sent pictures to the guy, and I was like, I'd like a refund. So right after then, I went in the hospital. I was in the hospital for a while. So I've still yet to send the book. The guy wanted the book back. So that tells you all you need to know about this guy. I guess he's going to try to, you know, if he's going to try to resell it, I don't know. Thinks I'm lying to him. But anyway, the seller on eBay is Atlanta Pickers. The Atlanta Pickers. I would just advise you to be very careful if you order from them on eBay. And I would make sure that they actually page through the book that you're buying, because they sure didn't with this one. I asked the guy, I said, this book never got opened. He goes, oh, sure it did. I was like, no, it's impossible. It didn't get open. So, anyway, I'm not buying from him anymore. So maybe you guys will have better luck. Okay, Quasimodo's Monster Magazine. I'm not sure what issue this is. I think there's 10 or 11 issues of this. This was called Monster World in 75, I think. I bought the first 2 issues of this off the rack, and then it changed its name to Quasimodo's Monster Magazine. I've even got a picture of me piling out of my dad's car with issue 1 of Monster World from 75, going to my grandparents' house, so I have something to read. So I think there's 8 or 9 issues of this, Quasimodo's Monster Magazine. I need to get the rest of them. It's the same publisher as Monster Fantasy, which was a pretty good mid-70s monster magazine. It's kind of bland looking, the layouts and stuff, but the articles are pretty good. So there's that issue. This is 4 monsters only. This is the last title that I need to really jump into for my vintage monster magazines. There's 10 issues in an annual. I've got issue 1, and I think this is issue 10. So I have to jump onto those. These are a little harder to find. So this is like the last project I have for my monster magazine collection. But this was published by Dell. Who published Cracked magazine. So a lot of their, it's a lot of humor in there, you know, so-called humor. But there's some lengthy articles. There's one on Cry the Banshee and Scream Again, which are not very good movies, but the write-ups are pretty good. Here's another issue of Quasimodo's Monster Magazine. I don't think I've even opened this one up. I think I've opened up and flipped through it. But this has the Christopher Lee interview. And Phase 4. I don't know if you guys remember Phase 4. I remember seeing that at the drive-in. I think I saw that in Chosen Survivors about vampire bats or something when I was at the drive-in about 74 or 75. So, and then these I bought as a lot. There's 7 or 8 of these, I think, in this lot. There's a few I've missed that I don't have. There's probably at least 3 or 4 more of these cracked monsters. This is stuff that was published in 4 Monsters Only and Monster Howls, and then stuff that was published in Cracked. Cracked's big advantage over Mad, the only advantage they had over Mad, was that they had John Severin. And John Severin, of course, can do just terrific likenesses. So he's perfect for these movie spoofs. And they had a thing for monsters. And so they published probably 10 or 12 of these specials, just combining all their monster articles and cartoons and things of that nature. I paid less than 20 bucks for these. So they're not spectacular, but what the heck, you know, I bought these when I was a kid, so it was fun buying these. So I said I was weird as a kid. I actually preferred Cracked to Mad. I don't know why. I assume it was John Severin. I like John Severin's art. But I would rarely buy Mad, and I was always buying Cracked. So there you go. Okay, that's all I've got to show for you today. I keep wondering if I should do like a new comic book day haul. I mean, I do buy new comics. I hadn't for a long time, but I'm a big DC fan. And Rebirth, I decided when Rebirth came along, I'd hop on and give everything a shot. And I'm still buying 90% of the DC Rebirth titles. I really enjoy what DC's doing. They've kind of taken an approach, just the old-fashioned type comic book storytelling. They've, you know, Marvel has gone the SJW thing where, you know, white men are evil and everyone's got to be a, you know, a Muslim, lesbian, things that don't make sense, you know. So they turn me off. I just don't buy their comics anymore. But DC is where my heart has always been. So the Superman books have been terrific. The Batman books have been terrific. I've been enjoying the Justice League, which a lot of people aren't enjoying. But anyway, someday I'll do a new comic day haul and just show what I got. You know, it's pretty much the stuff you'll see on the rack if you guys buy new comics. But I didn't think it's very exciting. But you know, maybe I'll show it off and just let you guys know that I do buy new comics too. Just they don't give me the same thrill that the stuff in the 70s does. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe. Again, Merry Christmas, everyone, and Happy Hanukkah, and I will talk to you again soon.